Precious put up a good post that JR started with, and it was like a man that finds a wife has found a good thing and has obtained favor from the Lord. It
Right.
didn't, I don't remember seeing scriptures that say there is a perfect woman out there for you. You have to choose, you have to pray about it and make sure that you get the one that I created that is just for you. So his Christian beliefs, if he's not even analyzing how he's even looking at his spirituality and his walk with God, like ultimately when we think about our purpose, our only purpose in life is to bring glory to God. So he's given us different gifts and different things that are passionate to us, but ultimately the expectation or our goal should be to bring glory to him. A wife is supposed to come along and support us in doing that. So I don't know what exactly he believes is his, what is his other, I guess his alternative purpose in life, but he just seems like he's really lost in trying to find out what is his purpose in pleasing God, or his purpose in life.
Hey, I'll say too, and something that you had said earlier, Trev. Um, I don't think that marriage is or should be solely based off of just being in love. Because at some point, you know what I'm saying, the two aren't going to, there's going to be moments where, you know what I'm saying, you're going to clash, and it's going to take more than love to get you through it, right? And then on top of whatever else comes along with marriage. The second part as well, although it is what he's doing, or what it is that we're assuming that he's doing as far as with writing love letters to his future wife, even though that's different from what we normally see. I personally don't think that is anything wrong with it, because if that's the case, he's literally just journaling what it is that he wants. And there was people in the comments saying that, well, it hasn't worked yet, so clearly it doesn't work or whatever. Just as you stated, marriage isn't something that you just jump into. I think a big reason of why the divorce rates is what it is now is because people get married for the wrong reasons. Like I know a shit ton of guys that literally got married for the wrong reasons, because they got pressured into it, because they got caught cheating, and now they trying to save the relationship. People get married for goofy reasons, much rather than it being a solid relationship where the two of you love each other and you're both beneficial to each other. So I think that we're in a current time where the narratives of marriage is watered down, and people are just jumping in and out of it, you know what I'm saying, just because. But although what he's doing may seem different, I don't think that is necessarily anything wrong with what he's doing. I think more people should probably even do it, especially if you feel like this piss in a dating pool, or you find the person that you want to be with. If you want to be married, that's him just being intentional on his own desires.
All right. Let's go ahead and get Marcus and Nelson in there.
Could you repeat the question?
I was just in response to the video. Single season brings unrest to me.
Hmm. I don't know. So I remember when Shaq was kind of talking about this before, when he was saying like how it felt to come home without in the big house without all the kids. I would assume if I was like to be by myself in the house, it would feel incomplete. But that's because I'm just so used to so many people being here. There are some men who really just like being single. Like, and those men exist, right? I think I don't know the numbers or nothing, but some of them are happy, content, and enjoy the life that they live. From what they, especially the ones who say like all the married men, the simps, and all that stuff online. So I'm assuming that they really enjoy that life. What Shan said, it hit home, because I was thinking about what he said about the picker, and I'm like brainstorming. Do you know any men that have similar personality, like that you could be like, man, me and him are real similar, that's married? I can't hear you.
You talking to Shane?
Like,
Yeah.
who's
I
you
think
asking?
life exists. I was trying to ask, do you know any men with similar personality, like a similar personality to you that's married? Or you could be like, yeah, me and him, we kind of, yeah. Damn. Okay. Because what I was gonna say is maybe if he happy, maybe because I think patterns exist in life, right? And there are people who kind of A alike, B alike for comparison matches. They may not look exactly the same, but a type of like my personality trait with somebody that has the similar personality trait would need the same type of wife that I have. Like my personality with my friend I was talking about earlier's wife personality, it would absolutely not work. Where she demeaning and demanding and da. But for him, that personality works. So I was thinking maybe if you knew somebody that had a similar personality trait and they kind of had a white, maybe that could give like a diagram to kind of sift through some of the female, the females that's out here to be like, you know what, she kind of reminds me of so and so, and then from there it could further the process. But that was just a random brainstorming thought. I don't know if that is helpful at all. Anyway, it's not. All right. All right. Well, it's worth a shot.
I want to add one thing, man, about what the guy was saying too. It was like why I reacted, which I'm glad that that's not the premise of his show, but why I also reacted like that is that to me it's kind of sad when I hear these guys that sound almost like without a particular woman in their life, like they're hopeless, almost like they almost sound like their life has no purpose without it. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what sounds pathetic to me. It's like I think it's amazing to have a woman in your life, and a woman adds a lot to your life. And I'm sure marriage with the right woman adds a lot to your life. But there's a lot of men that have this very depressing undertone where they make it seem like, damn, well, if what happens if you don't find it, bro? Like you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be unhappy, like because that seems to be the only reason he's like living for. Like that's what he's focused on. It's like I feel like that's more something that will come with you living your life the way you're supposed to live it, by you fulfilling your purpose. The right woman will come along. I don't think finding the right woman should be the purpose. You know what I mean? That seems like a kind of
You know
pathetic
what?
thing to me.
And here's another, because I'm a conspiracy theorist. He might just be fronting because he got in an argument with his girl the night before and he knows she watching. Niggas will do some shit.
He the villain, Shan. He's a villain.
Yeah, he probably a villain, slick, manipulative motherfucker, and he know that he was going live, and he know his girl watching, but they had a fight last night, and he needs to say some shit. So when she hear him say that, he really like, yeah, I know she gonna catch that broadcast. And
right. So you say he don't do girlfriend. That don't mean he ain't got hoes.
Tomorrow night, shit. That might be he might be playing chess, man. We over here trying to analyze what he got going on. This motherfucker over here working this chick that he's fighting with in the hotel last night. We don't know.
Shan hitting him with that cynical shit right there.
He said he don't do girlfriends. He said he don't do girlfriends.
He did say that. He did say that. Facts.
He would definitely
be a fuck buddy. Yeah, maybe she's not a girlfriend, but she a fuck buddy, and he wants some more pussy, and she's like, no, and he's like, well, let me say something when I go live, she'll watch.
Go ahead,
So when I heard that if he came to my office, my hypothesis on what's going on with him is that he has an intense fear of making the wrong choice. It's evident inside that same interview, he described a relationship that he was in that went wrong, and he talked about it in terms of he was with a woman that was very clingy, that seemed to be a little bit insecure. She was worried whenever he would advance inside of his career, worried that she was going to get left behind, worried if he was out too long, worried about not being next to him all the time. So he made sacrifices to be with her. He felt like he had to dial back what he wanted inside his career in order to be able to successfully be in this relationship. So he ends up breaking off of that relationship in pursuit of the career, and now he's hitting like the pinnacle of his career. He's got everything going on for him, but now the relationship element is missing. It's almost as if he doesn't know what he truly wants or what is truly the most important to him. You even heard it when he did that Danae Jackson and Derek Jackson interview. The way he did that, and he was listening to both of their stories and giving opinion, it was very much somebody that is straddled on the fence. It wasn't this I'm being impartial and just being non-biased. It was almost as if I don't know what the right choice is. I don't know what is right. I don't know what's more important. So he sounds like somebody that's overall having analysis paralysis. He's got a bunch of I'm sure he's got a bunch of women that are interested in him, but he's so dead set on making the perfect decision, making the wife that hits all of the check boxes that allows him to continue being inside his career and not have to give up anything in that area or not have to make any sacrifices in that area, and a woman that looks the best, that thinks just like he does, that does everything exactly perfectly, and he's afraid to make a mistake and choose the wrong person again. That's
Nelson.
everything that I get from him,
Nelson. So that's what I kind
of was healthy.
No.
So
Nelson, that's kind of what I was getting at when I was trying to figure out a formula. Because say he has a super ambitious personality, he would probably need somebody like, I don't know, Grant Cardone's type of wife, right? Where she sees her mission as just pushing him, and all she wants to do is be the person that propels him to the next level, because that's what he really, really wants to do. So he would have to find somebody with a character trait. Let's say the personality was not concerned with being the center of attention at all, wanting to stay a sufficient, like they act, because there's women who take real pride, like my wife's like this, who take real pride in giving and being supportive. Like they take the same amount of pride that somebody might take for being an attention seeker as not being an attention seeker, but just being in the background and really like holding you down. So he might need somebody that's like that, that's not needy, that doesn't cling to him like you were saying and feel lost without him, so she could busy herself with things to help further the mission, and she buys in with the mission so they could work together and keep it pushing. But I really think it's not that many personality types out here. And I think that you just got to find a subgroup of the personality trait that you like with the attraction level that you're okay with, and then you can make it work from there. But I don't think everyone classifies people the right way, right? Because somebody might be beautiful, but their personality traits fit in a box that's really not compatible. But like Shan said, we'll make it work because she look good or the head is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if we pick for the personality trait, then the attractiveness, then the personality, either way. But those two things got to be in line before you move forward with the relationship. Then you can move forward on a good note. That's kind of what I was trying to get at. I don't think I touched it.
Marcus, a lot of us are not even self-aware enough. A lot of us are not even self-aware enough to understand what it is that we would need in the first place. So we might think that this is what we're going to need to make us happy, but we have no idea of what it is that we actually need in our life to be our other half. If we're not self-aware enough, then we won't even know what to look for. We could be thinking, going into it in good faith, thinking that we're looking for someone that will complement us or our personality, right? But because we are not self-aware, we will continue to look for the things that looks like it will fit, but just won't.
And so real quick, Nelson, if I can say this real quick. So with the approach that he's taken, with the history it is that with his background that we're aware of, he's divorced, he's a older gentleman, I think I'm assuming he's in his 50s maybe. Him journaling. I think he said
46.
46. He's 46. He's essentially journaling what it is that he wants. Do you believe that he will or he won't find the person that he's looking for by taking the approach that he's doing?
That's hard to say, because if he gets to the part in his journaling where he looks inward more, to where it's more what are you actually looking for and why are you looking for it, that's got to be really important to him, because he he's never really stated, like, he said something about in his relationship that he felt, I think he said something like he felt like something was missing and he felt almost underachieved because he's not inside of a relationship. And so since he feels like he hasn't achieved, it's like he has some sort of picture in his mind or expectation that everything in his life he really has to succeed at. He has to do well in every area of his life. Where is that even coming from? And where is that image of perfection, like, where did that originate for him? So that way he can, because that's a destructive mindset for him, to believe that he has to make the correct choice every single time. That's what paralyzes you. So if he can get out of that mindset and stop saying, I'm looking for this in a woman, I'm looking for this in a woman, and turn inward and say, why is this quality that I'm looking for in a person, why is it important to me, and what do I feel like is missing in my life? It'll make it easier for him to identify what is actually important to him.
I think that's perfect, because you can't just get in a relationship to check a box, and it really sounds like that's what he's trying to do. I think you spot on with that.
Yeah, he's got too many boxes that he's trying to check, and he don't even know why he's checking those boxes.
Yeah. If you was to guess what you would, something from like a child,
it was probably told what he was supposed to do. That's what he was taught was right. He's spiritual, and in the Bible it talks so much about how important marriage is, right? So yeah, I think that is where it's all based.
But there's no right decision in marriage. Precious put up a good post that JR started with, and it was like, a man that finds a wife has found a good thing and has obtained favor from the Lord. I don't remember seeing scriptures that say there is a perfect woman out there for you. You have to choose, you have to pray about it and make sure that you get the one that I created that is just for you. So his Christian beliefs, if he's not even analyzing how he's even looking at his spirituality and his walk with God, like, ultimately, when we think about our purpose, our only purpose in life is to bring glory to God. So he's given us different gifts and different things that are passionate to us, but ultimately the expectation or our goal should be to bring glory to him. A wife is supposed to come along and support us in doing that. So I don't know what exactly he believes is his, what is his other, I guess, his alternative purpose in life, but he just seems like he's really lost in trying to find out what is his purpose in pleasing God, or his purpose in life.
I would say this: there's a lot of men who aren't married, right? What's the percentage of it? About half of us, right? About, what do they say? About 54%, something like that. No, that aren't married. So it's not like even if it's, I know it's somewhere within the range, right? So it's not absurd for a man his age, and I'm sure it lowers a little bit as you get older, the percentage. But so it's not absurd that he's not married now. I definitely understand why he's taking his time, right? He might be, just the way he was talking, he might be waiting on a green light from God, right? There are some people who feel like, no, this isn't what my spirit was led to. And he'd be like, okay, God, I'll be patient. So when you take yourself out of the equation like that because of your faith, that's another thing. And whether you believe it or not, it's the thing to be respected, right? That's his faith. Yeah. And there's no way, just from how he's talking, right? I grew up in the church. I'm telling you that he is going to wait for a green light from God. That's just how that goes for people who speak like that usually, right? So I would strongly believe that. Okay, so if he didn't get a green light from God, if he's trying and he's like, okay, I'm going to wait for God to lead me, that kind of takes away a lot of what it is that we do as men to get what it is that we want, particularly in women, right? All that aggression, all of us to go get it, all of us to go hunt. It's a different philosophy. Now you're thinking that God is going to send me the woman who I am worthy of and who is worthy of me, right? Who's going to be my match. So it's a different frame of mind, right? If we go back to the Sierra's prayer, Sierra begged God to send her a man, and maybe that's what happened, right? Maybe that's what happened. So it's just about thinking just where his frame of mind is. And he has a lot of other things going on in his life. Running a podcast is demanding as hell. Jay, I'll tell you, it's demanding as hell. And it's going to be a strain on your personal life, especially to be successful, right? Between all of those factors, the limited amount of time he has to date and to vet and everything else, he's given his life to everything. It's tough, right? And then his experience from before, there's a lot of different factors that we have to consider that would kind of make him, it would just make it harder for him to be able to be married like that. It's not that easy, especially after he went through it already, man. A lot of people, that's trauma, right?
What did he
who
go
knows
through?
if he really addressed it, right? What did he go through? A divorce, right?
No, but
The
question is why? What happened? Why did he get a divorce? That's a huge. I mean,
I don't know. That is absolutely a huge part of the equation. But just what happens to men when we divorce, right? Our children are ripped away from us. Our financial situation is destroyed. We have to try to put back the pieces together, right? We're financially bound to the woman who has no duty to us whatsoever anymore. That's tough to deal with. So for him to take that risk, which it is a great risk as a man, it's tough to put yourself in that vulnerable position again. So I could understand his sentiment, man. I understand, and a lot of people, when they run into trouble or they go through something that's very difficult in their lives, they turn to God, right? Sometimes it takes for something traumatic to happen. I don't know his entire history like that, right? I only know from what I've seen, what he's presented on the show. I've never did an investigation on the guy. But sometimes people wait for something to happen or something traumatic happens to them. People who you've never seen say a prayer in their life, never did anything like that. When trouble comes, when their children in trouble, if their mom is on their deathbed, something, they praying all of a sudden. They're a prayer warrior all of a sudden, right? So that's just what it is. He might be turning to God just because, I don't know. But I just want us to just kind of have an open perspective here to where we could say, all right, there might be something to this. It might be a good reason, might be something valid that we can't see behind the scenes. And we have to understand why us as men need to protect ourselves. Women should too, but we damn sure have to, because we are at a great risk by giving our lives to a woman. If you want to do it the right way, you want to make an honest woman out of some, but when he probably has been betrayed, you don't know what happened in that situation. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, he's a guy, man. I know some women who would eat him alive. I promise. They will wait for an opportunity, see like that.
Keeping that in the same
what was you gonna say, bro?
Framework, but keeping that in the same thinking of, if he's still doing all of this under God, with the exception of infidelity, God didn't give him the green light to get divorced. So what was going on for him?
What if she divorced him? Sometimes women will make your life a living hell. If she don't want you no more, and she wants your pocket instead, she is going to make it so you divorce.
Trev, let me ask you a
question. It might have been infidelity. Go ahead.
Are you able to? Because I do this a lot, and it's like you'll meet couples, and you could kind of see it's not going to work before they know it's not going to work, because it's things that's obvious.
Absolutely.
And usually, you can't tell the guy because he's in love, and he'll be upset with you for trying to explain what the issue is. Like, do you think that's...
No, absolutely. You can tell. I definitely understand where you're going with it, but I take it so far that I don't introduce certain people to certain people because I already know what their chemistry is going to be like, right? So I do that a lot. I profile people a lot, right? Just from experience and talking to thousands of people, and people are very open and honest with me because I'm not going to judge, for one. Right. I'm not going to ever throw anything in your face. So fortunately, I'm in a position where I get a lot of information from people, and I just kind of analyze and sit back and see what we could do with that. And it's just like anything else, just like people take polling. You get sample sizes, and the more you have, the more accurate you are. And I know certain people just shouldn't be together, right? And it's not going to work because you're going to have to work way too hard to be with this person. And I always tell people, like Shannon would tell you, just be yourself. It's so damn easy. It's so damn easy to not put on a front, and you're not going to disappoint anyone. If they don't mess with you, they won't. But you'll be surprised when you just start being open about things up front. Whatever it is that you do, if you a slob, go ahead and be a slob, man. Off rip. They're going to accept it or not. But the worst thing that you can try to do is fraud for somebody. That's the worst. Don't ever fraud for nobody, and don't ever try to change nobody. Meet people, go ahead in good faith, be upfront about it, put everything on the table, and you'll be surprised with the results you'll get. You're probably going to actually find a person who likes you for you, and it's easy as hell to be you.
The hard part is the confidence in doing it, right? Like, it's like going to the other side of the mountain. It's beautiful on the other side, but convincing people to climb up the mountain and go over there is the really hard part of it.
I mean, but you'll be at the point of where you won't even have the desire to convince them. You know what I'm saying? It'll just be you marching over to that other side of the mountain, and the people that want to follow you is going to go.
It's not that easy for a lot of people. They struggle with self-esteem. They struggle with feeling like they're not worthy. They struggle with feeling like the person that they are isn't enough. They struggle with feeling like they have to impress this person in order to have a realistic shot. They struggle with all types of things. So for them to just get up and walk over there, it's going to require some inner work in order to get to the point where they say, hey, this is who I am. I'm presenting this, and somebody is going to deal with this, or somebody is going to like this. I'm just going to present the best version of who I am without changing who I am. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I absolutely agree that it is work, but I think that the more that we tell people to do it, and not hinder them with the dialogue of saying, oh, it's going to be tough, or, you know, it's a struggle, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Those little things, especially if somebody's already self-conscious, is going to eat at them. So I think if you tell them, hey, if this is what you do, and they find that out along on their journey, you know what I'm saying? I think that they'll have more success in that, much rather than immediately shooting them down, you know, with giving them that.
Right. I think this goes back to, we have an ideological difference, because this furthers back to the racism conversation and just the general outlook. So I agree to disagree.
Yeah. All right, we got to go ahead and close this out, man. I know we're getting to that time. We only have one thing that came through, which Angela Swift, member 8 months, says, men equals many empowered nominees. Salute to you, Angela Swift. I know you've been pretty active in the chat. It's great discussion, gentlemen. Great discussion. I was looking at some of y'all faces. I see y'all just barely holding on here. Ain't saying no names, be mad.
Damn, say no names, huh?
It's just a long blink, that's all. It's a long blink. I mean, periodically you'll be like, It's like going to a good sermon, huh? And get some good sleep, or you're in the lecture or something.
Yeah, you got me.
Be mad might be on the East Coast with me. It's 1:22 over here.
Not today, but yeah, it's 12:22. I'm in Houston right now.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I feel you. Yeah, it's still late. I got shit to do in the morning. So
All right, go ahead. You about to say, Trey?
No, I was gonna ask, when is a good time?
Nothing important.
When is a good time to tell somebody you don't think the person they with is gonna work?
Ooh, that depends on that person.
Never.
Yeah,
you gotta know the temperament of your friend.
It depends. Yeah,
that's
I don't think.
A case basis.
I don't think that you should have the authority to do that. I think if you're a true friend, you would allow them to find it out, unless it's something detrimental to your friend, because nature has to run its course.
Yeah,
but the wrong woman will ruin your life. I would certainly consider that detrimental.
The first thing is detrimental. If it's something with DEFCON 5 where you got to pull that collar, like, whoa, you understand?
Yeah, the other thing too, I don't know if I would lead with your opinion. I think you more so want to ask those right prying questions,
right,
to get their thoughts on certain behaviors and certain problematic things that you've noticed, and just to see what their take on it is and their viewpoint of it. And then maybe you're like, okay, then you know how you need to proceed. You'll know if there's something you need to move forward with your with your concerns, or you need to backpedal. By asking those questions, it's going to uncover by their reactions how you might need to move. But if it's really detrimental, like what Kenny's saying, I would definitely ask questions, but I wouldn't come with, I don't think this shit's going to work because X, Y, and Z. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear it.
Here's the key thing. Pardon me. Here's the key thing that I see. It's 50-50. Suppose it works out. No, and she gets earshot of your attempt to divide them. That's not your friend no more.
No, I feel you. So it's not 50-50 though. Like when I know, that should be like 95 and the other 5 ain't coming to life yet.
That's kind of tough. I hear what you're saying, Marcus, but
I don't tell them. I'll just ask questions, but I be wanting to like tap them and be like, bro, XYZ, because this how you are and this how she is, it's never gonna work. But I know I can't say that. So the only thing I'm left doing is just sitting there with my fingers crossed, wishing I could jump in and fix it, but I can't fix it. Because really that's where it come from, wanting to fix the whole thing.
You can't
all you can do is shine. Yeah, all you can do is shine a light on certain aspects. And that's really all you can do, and see how if they're catching your drift, if they recognize that as well, that you shine a little bit of light on it, then, you see where that goes. But if they're still not catching it and they're not seeing a problem with it, man, you got to tread carefully, my boy. You got to tread real carefully.
One of my real
they trust you.
The first day he met his girlfriend and we met up with him, she stormed out of the bar. And I told him, do not chase her. You chase her now, you're going to be chasing her for the rest of your relationship. Sure enough, he looked at me and said, and walked off, chasing. And to this day, he got to work extra so he can make 180 to take care of her lifestyle. And that day in the bar played out on a larger scale throughout the entire relationship. And now it's extremely detrimental to him and it's pulling him apart. And I'm like, I wish I could have stopped this right then and there so I could have fixed this, because I knew this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That I know I can't do nothing. I'm really just venting right now because it's frustration from wanting to fix some shit that I can't fix.
Sometimes do got to experience what they got to experience.
Yeah, every man
they have to go through that path. Sometimes you got to hit a brick wall for you to really.
Some
see
people hard head. They got to learn the way.
You got to. Sometimes you got to have the experience. So because he might come back around later on and. It might be a bad relationship, might not work out, whatever, but he learned lessons from it that made him better and stronger, and maybe set him up for the person he's really supposed to be with or what have you. So it's not really your path. Again, you can shed some light to some things, but tread carefully. I would tiptoe or even backpedal. And if he's still going that route, then he's got to figure out on his own. He has to. That is a path he has to walk.
Yeah, I had another friend end up getting himself killed in the same situation. Like, I just be sitting there like, bro, I want to stop this, but I can't stop it.
Yeah. I whenever I'm faced with a situation like that, with somebody that I'm close to, or even if I just meet somebody and they're telling me about their situation, I always share with them an experience that I had with a young gentleman that I watched grow up. And he was essentially unalived by his wife. And it was like, bro, if you seeing any issues up front that seems as if it's going to be life-threatening, like it shows you that she's extremely volatile, or she's giving you these red signs and people around you are seeing it and you ignoring it, don't do that, because you're literally putting your life on the line, So I imply it in some type of way, depending on how close it is that I am to him, and give some examples. But yeah, it's kind of it's a tricky thing where if you get too involved, you'll be the bad guy and they blow up in your face.